Well, good morning, and what a fantastic morning for another walk. It is absolutely glorious. Having said that, it's below freezing, or was, so it's a chilly morning. And I've got breath that you can see. So yes, we're out on another walk, and this promises to be another good one and a fantastic day. So I've started the walk from a place with an unusual name which is in northeast Dorset. But I'll tell you more about that as we go, because I've got to move on, because somebody's mowing the churchyard behind me and he keeps coming over here. So I'll catch up with you in a minute as we get walking. Actually, I think what we might do before we head out is just have a look in the church. So yes, moved on now, got away from the mower, so hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. So I'm in northeast Dorset. It's an area, or this particular part is an area I don't walk very much, so looking forward to this. There'll be some new paths for me, which is always good. So the place I've come to and started from is a place called Sixpenny Handley, which is a somewhat unusual name, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But I'm doing it, it's a fairly short circuit, this one, about 5 miles probably, but it takes in some interesting things. I know there's a hill fort, although I don't know how substantial it is until I get there. But what it does do, and my main objective in some ways, is it takes in Garston Woods, which is a nature reserve, RSPB reserve, and I'm hoping that we're going to get some lovely autumn colours there. That's what I'm aiming for. Although having said that, having had a very calm and peaceful several weeks, this week it's actually been much windier, so I don't know if the leaves may have blown off the trees, in which case it may not be quite as colourful as it was, but never mind, we'll see when we get there. Anyway, it should be a good day, so I hope you're going to join me for this one again. I'm looking forward to it. Hot wire. Okay, we won't touch that then. Yeah, sorry about my shadow. Hi. Yes, it's a chilly day. Unusual, we've had it so mild so far, and we were mid-November now, but there was a heavy frost on the car this morning, and when I drove here I think the temperature in the car said 3 degrees. I would say with the wind chill factor, because it's a bit fairly breezy today, I would say it is probably below freezing. In fact, my hands are really cold. I have brought gloves with me and I might even need to put those on, but I'm thinking that walking's going to warm me up. Anyway, yes, so it's a lovely crisp clear morning and wonderful sunshine. So, Sixpenny Handley, where we started the walk, and we had a look round the church just before we got walking. So the village was known originally as Handley, and the name Handley, or Handley St Mary actually as well, because St Mary's is the church. So Handley comes from 2 Old English words, Hean, which means high, and league or liege, which means clearing. So basically a high clearing. The sixpenny part was actually added much later in the 19th century to distinguish it from other villages, other Handley villages. And sixpenny actually has nothing to do with Old English coins. For those of you who are of a certain age, you'll remember the sixpence. Sixpenny actually comes from a local hundred, which was known as Sixpenny Handley. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And that in itself was a derivative of Sixpence, which means Hill of the Saxons. So it's a bit convoluted, but that's where Sixpenny Handley name comes from. We'll just add on the country lane for a short distance. so time doesn't allow us, or didn't allow us, to look around the village too much. But there is something I found out about the village which is fascinating and I find interesting. It is something known as the Waistcoat Festival, which apparently started in 2014, so it's a modernism, but it kind of celebrates the goodwill of people years ago. So we've got to wind the clock back to 1892, 20th of May. There was a major fire when most of the village was destroyed and people were homeless, hundreds of people were homeless, and very kindly supporters, neighbours, neighbouring villages, etc. Sent gifts and support for those people, and they had so much clothing given to them that it was said that you could tell a man was from Sixpenny Handley because he would be wearing 2 or 3 waistcoats, so because they had so much donated. So that's a fascinating and interesting story, I thought. A man wearing 2 or 3 waistcoats and you'd know he was from Sixpenny Handley. So they started up a waistcoat festival as a kind of celebration of generosity of people. I love it. I love these stories. They're absolutely brilliant, I think. So there you go, that's Sixpenny Handley Waistcoat Festival. So the first part actually takes us across open fields, but we are slightly on a hill, so we've got some nice views down into the bottom of the valley. It is a bit squelchy underfoot, so presumably it's no longer freezing, although someone needs to tell my hands that because I'm having trouble operating the camera, so my fingers aren't working properly. That's how cold it is. So we're about to drop down into a little hamlet known as Newtown. Actually doesn't look that new, to be truthful, so maybe it should be called comparatively Newtown. Just look at this morning. Look at that sun. Absolutely glorious. Yes, the only problem with the winter sun is that whenever you're filming you get me in it as well, but can't do much about that. Can't make myself invisible, unfortunately. Say, I always find it interesting walking through villages and hamlets. It's just, I like looking at the gardens and the cottages and just the hedgerows and that. Fascinating. I think we skirt round behind the hamlet. Oh yes, this is it by the looks. Go off to the right. And as you can see, there is still frost in the shadows. A lovely path this is. This carpet of leaves. That's a nice chunky tree. Look at that. That's an amazing tree, that is. Got ferns growing, they're tree ferns I think they're called. And plenty of autumn foliage still on the tree. Some nice old woodlands here, but it's a bit of a vague path going through. A little bit clearer here, I think. It's a kind of question of making your own path, I think, to a degree. Nice colours in that. And some nice fir-lined trees. I have to say I love woods like this. The older woods, well, where the trees are all gnarly and crumbly and falling, and old stagers, you know, like the senior citizens of the natural world. I love it. Uh-oh, like someone's dropped something. Another interesting place tucked away. Oh, there's quite a few footpaths as well. Look. There's 1, 2, 3 on that sign there. There's one up there. We're going up there. I just love it when nature kind of brings something up in front of you that just makes you say, wow. Because that's what I do when I meet things like this. That is glorious. That's a real wow to me. Look at the colours. Ah, spectacular. And another one. And we haven't even reached Garston Woods yet, which is the main event. In fact, we haven't reached the hill fort yet, but that's not far away now. There's a really lovely bit of woodlands. Look at the trees in there. There's an amazing carpet of leaves. We're just skirting around the edge of that woodlands. What amazes me, you know, I think I probably said this in one of my previous videos, just amazes me how nature changes colours at different rates in order to give us the joy and pleasure that we get. Because you get some nice orangey leaves. You know, you've got trees bare, leaves have gone from that one. Nice orangey leaves, nice yellowy green leaves, and around here we got leaves that are still green. Just amazes me the range of colours. You know what I mean? So instead of changing everything at the same time, the same colour, nature does it at different stages, just to give us the pleasure of seeing all this variety of colour. I think that is absolutely amazing. And I do believe we've reached the fort, so we'll take a little detour. Oh, it's a bit slippery. Yeah, so this is the ramparts, and this is called Middlebury, and it's on Woodcuts Common, and it's an Iron Age hill fort, which is probably a farm, they think. It's about 4 acres apparently in size, and there's some suggestion that it was perhaps not completed, because I think there's only rings around 3 sides, I believe, and we're on one of the ramparts here. You can see where it dips down. I don't know how much of it's visible, we'll see as we carry on walking, but as you can see, it's heavily wooded, so we may not be able to see too much of it. But we will keep walking and see what else we see. More ramparts in amongst the trees. I bet it's a place that would probably reward some exploring. I don't actually have the time today to do it, but I will come back again. You can see all the, in fact this looks like the interior of the fort is over the top of the rampart. Ah, that's a bit better. Yeah, so this is the interior of the fort by the looks. The other rampart is over the other side, I think. Oh, a nice carpet of leaves and some lovely long shadows. What's strange is that I'm in the middle of a fort and I can actually hear guns firing. Modern guns, that is. So, I guess I'm not a million miles away from Salisbury Plain, so I am assuming that that's where the guns are coming from. The military firing area. I don't know that for certain, but that's the only thing I can think of that's near here. Oop. Pay attention. Nearly tripped up. One of the hazards of filming. You're kind of looking at what you're filming and you're not watching where you're placing your feet. See, you just come around the corner and there's another blaze of colour. A high fence on the right here, which looks like a deer fence. So I presume they're trying to keep them out of that area. I will say, incidentally, if you're someone who's picked up my video by chance and you're watching this and you're a non-walker, I must say you really ought to give it a go. There is nothing like being out in the countryside, walking amongst nature like this at any time of the year. Autumn we get the amazing colours, of course, but spring is equally lovely with the lovely new lime green foliage. Every season has its pleasures, and if you're a non-walker, I can highly recommend it. It's probably the best stress buster, mind improvement, come mood enhancer that you could possibly find. There is nothing better. The only warning I would put on that is that walking can be addictive. So there's a health warning. But in all seriousness, if you're not a walker and you've not tried it, then please do. Just get out in the middle of nowhere. I absolutely love it. I just can't imagine not being able to get out like this. I guess if my arthritic ankle gets worse, I guess that time might come, in which case at least I'll be able to look back on my videos that I've filmed. I'll be able to watch my own videos back. But as long as I'm able, I intend to keep walking as much as possible. And this, I mean, today I feel absolutely amazing walking through here. It's been such a spectacular walk so far. And we should be walking into Garston Woods in a minute. So yes, give it a go. Start off small and see how you get on. And it's cheap as well, let's face it. You don't really need any equipment. You can walk in trainers and everyday shoes, jeans. You don't need to necessarily spend out a fortune on all this ultra lightweight technical gear that we have these days. So it's an absolutely free hobby that you can take up. And if you watch some of my videos, you'll have seen some of the spectacular places you can get out and walk. So there you go, my recommendation. Dr. Dorset Rambler says, get out and walk. And of course the thing is, if you're a non-walker, you don't have to walk 20 miles. So it's not like you have to be afraid that you haven't got the energy or whatever. Half a mile is better than no miles. And yeah, it's just half a mile in these woodlands would do you probably an amazing amount of good. So I've just got a very short bit of road walking. You can't actually access Garston Woods from the footpath I was on. But there is an entrance just here. Right, we're in Garston Woods now. This, as you've seen from the signs, is an RSPB nature reserve. So it's good for bird watching. this is a classic case really of nature surprising us, because in my head I came out today thinking Garston Woods was going to be the main event, mixed woodlands nature reserve, and we should get some amazing colours. Ooh, look at that, still got frost on the shadowy areas. Yeah, so we're going to get some amazing colours, and in actual fact, as delightful as Garston Woods is, there's actually less colour than the smaller woodlands that I passed earlier that gave me those wow feelings. There's more colour there than there is here. Interesting, isn't it? You see, you might plan your route on what you think is going to be the best bit, but in actual fact when it comes down to it, you don't know which is going to be the best bit. Isn't that one of the delights of walking? You set out never knowing what you're going to see, and you get these little magic wow moments that God provides. Nature, if you want to see it that way, whether it be, you know, a bird of prey overhead, or a deer, badger, or whether it's just something like that in front of us. That absolutely amazing light coming through these trees. They may not be autumn shades because they're still green here, but look at that light. That is absolutely delightful. That's another wow moment for me. More of those King Alfred's cakes. It is so peaceful. Absolutely lovely. Well, we've reached the end of Garston Woods now, so I think it's a good time to sign the video off. I've got to walk just a short distance down here, and then I'll join a little country lane which will take me a short distance back into Sixpenny Handley again, and my starting point. So what a fantastic day it's been. Amazing weather. I mean, it's crisp and cold. Having said that, I didn't put my gloves on. I've warmed up, having walked. Soon warms you up. So it's been absolutely fine, and yeah, just glorious sunshine all the way through. And I'm so glad I came out today, because the forecast for the next couple of days is not that good. And we have some amazing colours to see along the way, as well as the hill fort. Lovely church to start us off. And Garston Woods as well. What could be better, eh? Like I said, if you haven't tried walking, you should get out and try it, because it's absolutely amazing. And I'm sorry, I know I do wax lyrical about it a lot. I do get very enthusiastic on video, I know that I just can't help it. It's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So it's been an absolutely amazing morning, amazing day. I've thoroughly enjoyed my walk. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved it, as I say. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed coming with me, and thank you for your company on this little walk today. So for now, I'm going to say this is me, the Dorset Rambler, saying until next time.